Okay, so you saw up close how to remove the impeller on the one side, the side without the fan, okay? So that's the reverse side, okay? Because that impeller, as we showed you up close, the impeller screwed off reverse. Okay, so now you have the other impeller, which is on this side. Now, here's a little trick. Now, you want to be very careful. Now, please, that's very important. I'll say it again. Be very careful. What you can do is you can try to cheat a little and just stick a flathead screwdriver in between the slots to catch the fan there. Now, you'll see if I turn the impeller a little bit, see it moves that screwdriver. And what you can do sometimes, if you're lucky, now remember, this one turns counterclockwise normally. So sometimes if you're lucky, you can just grab it and spin it, see? And you'll start loosening that impeller off. Now, if you can't do that and it just doesn't spin off freely like this, and you start to hear it go, or you get a lot of pressure in that fan, just stop what you're doing, and we're going to show you another trick in a minute how to get that off, okay? But I'm going to show you now, if you get lucky and it's not too tight, you can just have the screwdriver stuck in the slots like that, and what you want to do is just keep going, okay, just like this while you're holding the screwdriver, and this spins up regularly, and then there you go. You can see it just like that, okay? Now, there you go. Now, what I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put it back on, just like this. Now I'm going to show you another way. If it is stuck, right, and for some reason you can't hold it back with the screwdriver because you're afraid you're going to break the fan because it's just too tight, okay, then I'm going to show you another way. Now, what you never want to do, and I'll just tell you right now, is you never want to jam this up here and then take a pair of channel locks, okay, not because you'll break the impeller, because sometimes the impeller is so tight that if you go to do this, you'll break the fan inside. It will just be too tight. Do not do that. Do not take a pair of channel locks and a screwdriver and do it like that, okay? You don't want to do that. You want to, if it's okay if you take your hand, because you only have so much strength, unless you're like Godzilla or something like that, then you might break it. Don't do it like this, because that's just so much pressure. Bam, you might just break the fan, all right? So let's just say your impeller is stuck, okay? If your impeller is stuck, what you want to do is you want to loosen these through bolts, which you're going to have to do anyway, okay? And the way you can do that is take a little pair of channel lock pliers, either that or an open-end wrench, and you're going to place them on these little nuts up top here, and you're going to loosen up these nuts. There's 4 of these through bolts, okay, to loosen, and we're going to show you up close in a minute how to loosen these. But you're going to loosen up these through bolts by turning them towards you, okay, counterclockwise, and that's going to loosen the 4 through bolts of the motor, and then we're going to pull out the whole armature shaft, because we've already removed this impeller on this side. Now, there's a few things you have to do before you can just pull it apart. Okay, so slow down. Don't, if you want to pause the video, take a break, get a cup of coffee, or keep watching. Just don't think you can pull the through bolts off and everything's just going to pull apart. It's not that fast. We got to do a couple things. We got to loosen the through bolts first, and then we're going to take off apart the seal on this one side. Then we got to loosen the seal because it's a double seal. We got to take apart the double seal, and then at that point, once we remove the double seal from this side and we have the 4 through bolts loosened, then we could slide out the armature shaft and then put it in a vise and then remove the impeller while the armature is in the vise. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to loosen up the 4 through bolts that are on the motor by turning them with a pair of channel locks. Okay, I'm going to show you that up close in a second.